Number 6, it's really good to make a distinction when we're talking about boundaries, these boundaries that are consistent and connect. It's really good to make a distinction between God's rules and family rules. So God rules are, be kind to each other, be honest with each other, those sort of rules. There are other rules that are family rules, whether you take your shoes off when you go into the house, whether you have to finish your dinner before you eat dessert. Those are family rules. And one of the things our children will struggle to understand is how come I can't do this but so and so can, or how come I can do this but my friend can't. And one of the things that we want to get clear is that God has put each set of parents in charge of a family in order to see that family flourish. And there are lots of differences. And those parents, if they're doing a good job, will try and keep God's laws about kindness and honesty and those sort of things. But in each home there will be different family rules because families are different. And one of the things we want to teach our children is that when we go to someone else's house, if their rules are different from ours, that's okay, if it's the family rules. And one of the things that we should do is when we go to someone else's house is not expect them to keep all our family rules. However, if we are in their house, we should respect their family rules because we're in their house. But one of the things we got to get clear with them are there are some rules that ought to be true in every house, kindness and honesty and those sort of things. And there are rules that will be different. And actually we can be flexible with those rules as we engage with other families. And number 7, the last one that we will look at, is the tension between flexibility and boundaries. That idea of there's flexibility and freedom within boundaries. That as we set a consistent set of boundaries that connect, they don't have to be rigid and rock solid. Actually, there are times that once they are set as consistent, once the kids know that they are safe and they can sit down and develop and explore, those boundaries should constantly move. At least the family rule boundaries. That as the children grow and develop, that we should be able to be flexible with that and not keep those boundaries static. And actually, if we keep them static, that in itself becomes unhealthy. That consistency is not the same as not changing. They've actually got to change. And actually, there are times where even it doesn't have to be as the child gets older. Of maybe it is their birthday, and they haven't ate all their healthy stuff, and we can say to them, do you know what? It's a special day. Do you know we'll go for dessert. That's not being inconsistent. That's explaining to the child, this is a special day. Normally we say all the healthy stuff first, but actually we're going to go for it. And this really kicks in as well when you're going to other people's house or when you're going to grandparents' house. Grandparents will operate differently. And again, say if you have the rule that dessert doesn't get touched before the healthy food is cooked, when you go to your parents, their grandparents' house, that may not be the same. The grandparents will want them to enjoy their time, will want them to enjoy the great dessert, and we need a certain amount of flexibility to say that when we go to grandma or granddad's house, we really want you to eat the healthy food, but listen, if they want to give you the dessert, that's entirely up to them. We've got to build flexibility into our consistency, both in particular moments and in particular contexts, but also as the child grows and develops, that they actually get to experience freedom within those boundaries as they get older.